This is UNTETHER.tv, where we get inside the business of mobile. Here's your host, Rob Woodbridge.
Hi everybody, it's Rob Woodbridge from UNTETHER.tv, and I'm joined here with Kyle McInnes for the second of our weekly video podcasts called What's Cool in BlackBerry with BlackBerryCool. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. It's to the point. It's not the greatest name, but it's good.
Well, I think that at some point it'll catch on. We'll come up with an acronym. It'll be big. I think it'll be big. We'll get T-shirts. You know, it'll just say like whatever that acronym is. Somebody come and tell me. Somebody. I think it's good for now. How's that?
It's good. It's good.
And so let's jump right into this. Last week we had a lengthy discussion about whether or not RIM should be in the application development environment.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get any feedback from any of your viewers about that? Because I certainly did.
Yeah. So the feedback I get from developers is, and there was even some stuff internally at RIM that was circulated that I think they do. A lot of people want to see RIM just focusing on the device and not caring about a new Twitter app or putting their money towards things that should ultimately be handled by third parties.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think there's a lot to be said about RIM doing it and being able to integrate it with the device. And you have to kind of step back and say, are you okay with the way the device is manufactured for security purposes? The third-party APIs only take you so far. Other smartphones aren't opening up, aren't doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. So to get that deep level integration, you do need RIM to do it.
Well, and I think that's the feedback that I've received, but it's been a little bit more slanted. There's some guys that say defend it vehemently, that say they have to do it, but then there's somebody on the other side that says, it's the architecture, it's the way that they've built their infrastructure that means that they have to do it. It means that they've created a great sandbox to run these apps in, but really to get to the meat of what it would take to run a native app like whatever Twitter that opens up most of the API is impossible because of the way that they've architected it. Where maybe something like Android and iPhone, not iPhone, but Android, maybe have an opportunity to increase the that push so that the really deep-rooted apps that are built end up being built by Android developers, not by Google, right? So I've heard a good mix, and I don't know one way or another. I just don't like it when guys like or companies like RIM squeeze ISVs, because as we said last time, that's where I heard a lot of the feedback was from ISVs, obviously that are being squeezed. So
right.
It's tough.
So RIM have developed this way that this sandbox, as you say, and there's clearly something about developing for BlackBerry that is particularly difficult, costly, whatever the reasons are, were glaringly apparent this week. So we're talking BlackBerry apps.
Yeah.
It was, you look at what was launched for the iPhone, iPad this week, it was tremendous. And what did we have in BlackBerry? We had the LinkedIn application that had been on iPhone for something like 2 years. Yeah. And finally, it came to BlackBerry for a smartphone demographic that you would think would be the primary target for LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And the feedback from that, how did that launch go over?
It didn't go over great. I personally couldn't get the application to launch. I couldn't, for whatever reason. There was also a few comments on the post when we announced that it was released. Some other people couldn't get it to load as well. Something about biz versus bez, and there's so many different permutations of devices, carrier, etc., that cause a tremendous amount of headaches.
Yeah.
Whenever you launch for BlackBerry. So it didn't go great, but from what I've seen of the application, it looks great.
Does it kind of look? It can't look better than that.
It obviously doesn't look as sexy as that, but I think they've gone out of their way to really they partnered with RIM to really make sure that they've got all the integration there that's possible.
You know, first generation applications, you always have to forgive them. It's a new medium, it's a new input mechanism, it's a new everything. So you know that LinkedIn is going to do a bang up job because their first version of the iPhone was terrible as well. It crashed. But this latest version that they've come out maybe 4 or 5 months ago, so a year and a half in to their their iPhone, it's a great piece of software right now. It's very, very usable, stable. So you give it time, BlackBerry.
Well, I think from a user perspective, there's a lot more patience. People are starting to people are coming to terms with the fact that the software for your smartphone is closer to something that you would get for your PC. And you can't think of it as a phone. You do have to be wary of what OS you have, the settings you have on your device, and there is a certain degree of technical competence required now for being someone in the app economy.
Yep. Well, so let's talk about a couple of the other things that went out. One of the apps that launched on the BlackBerry was Tristan Interactive, and Tristan's great. I interviewed them earlier on in the season for UNTETHER.tv. They do museum and gallery tours on BlackBerry. Started on the iPhone, now moving to the BlackBerry. So that was launched. What else was out there this week?
So from my end, we had the BlackBerryCool store, which had a total. So it's powered by MobiHand. And MobiHand completely revamped the web side of it, as well as we relaunched kind of the 2.0 of the on-device App Store. And it's interesting to see what is possible through MobiHand that BlackBerry and RIM themselves haven't implemented.
So in terms of store functionality, you mean?
Store functionality, user interface, the overall purchasing experience. There's some stuff that RIM have done really well, and stuff that that's on our own store that you think, how come RIM haven't done this?
So how come they haven't?
Well,
So
something
give
is
us an example. Yeah, let's talk about examples here.
something very simple, separating. So being able to have apps, themes, games, and accessories all on the one storefront. They've got Shop BlackBerry, they've got App World, they've got the categories, but being able to break them up into those 4 points is crucial for a user.
Yeah.
Because they're not a game isn't an app isn't a theme.
And so they don't do that. But I mean, I would defend RIM here, which is interesting for me to be able to do here, is because I think that when you look